Morning, guys, and welcome to another beautiful day in SA. Got some heavy cloud behind us, but you can see the sun's trying to come out there. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and I thought we'd crack on with our Stalking Shadows, what people are calling podcasts now, and it's just stories of myself being a guide and getting out there and doing what we love, getting out in the bush, experiencing all of this beauty behind us, and sharing it with guys from all over the world to come and hunt in SA. So it takes me on to my next story, and this is two guys that came out, a father and son, and they are the Alberta boys. They came out, it's Samuel and Sam, and still hunting with the same company, guys. And I want to talk to more about the points of when you book a hunt at one of these conventions or shows and stuff like that. And this is a prime example of what can happen when you purchase a hunt like that. So Sam and Samuel, two awesome guys. I've grabbed them from the East London airport, and we headed on to our first concession, and they had a package that was a Kudu, Impala, Blesbuck, two Gemsbuck or Oryx, and I think Samuel wanted to shoot a red Wildebeest and a black Wildebeest. Those were the main animals, and then Sam had a zebra. So that was the main package for this trip. And the guys arrived, we headed out. They were using my rifle. A lot of guys do a lot of rifle hire coming out. It's less stress to come out without a rifle because it's just your bags and stuff. But it's not the end of the world, guys. It's not that difficult coming out of the rifle if you've got all the procedures in place, and the right guys helping you with all your permits and stuff. It does run quite smoothly, other than the haggling that happens up in Joburg at the airport there when you are trying to get your rifle all squared away. So we head to the shooting range, the guys get comfortable with the rifle, and we start our first day of our hunt. And we went out, and normally what I do with the guys is when we go out on our first day, if we've got enough time available to us, we go after like Impala and Blesbuck and stuff like that. It's just a good way to break the ice. So we found this bachelor herd of Impala, really, really nice Impala, and off I go with Sam. We get him set up. His dad's in tow with us, and he shoots this beautiful Impala, boom, and his Impala falls down right there, and the bachelor herd runs and stops, and there's another great Impala ram there, and we get Samuel set up, and this was a hunt of doubles. Everything seemed to work like this, but Samuel's shot wasn't that great, and he gut shot the Impala, and I followed the track, and then I needed the dogs, and we put the dogs on it, and the chase was on. So with all of this, my sheepdog Oakley and my foxy Zulu had this Impala belting it. They pushed it, it wouldn't bay up, to the point where they eventually pushed it right into a dam in winter. And the one of the lodges was on the edge of this dam. It was a beautiful tented camp, and the dogs pushed this Impala straight into the middle of it. And the other clients that were there on their hunt were watching the dogs work this Impala round and round and round until the Impala drowned in the middle of the dam. By the time I caught up there, it was one of those, okay, I need to check this out. Being the pH and it's very cold, I took a swim. And I went to the spot where they said it drowned. And I went down there and I dove down a couple of times without any luck, and I couldn't get the Impala out. So luckily enough, I wasn't too far away from the lodge. So I got one of the other guards that were at the tented camp to drop me off at the lodge so I could quickly get a change of clothes that I could go and fetch Samuel with his Impala. And then from there we came back, and the rest of the guys at the lodge kept an eye on the dam for us. And after about an hour, the Impala popped up. So you'll see with the photographs with Samuel, the Impala wasn't set up too well because rigor had already kicked in, and the legs were so stiff from the adrenaline and stuff that we couldn't get them all bent up to take that nice photo that we set up for you guys to go home with. So that was day one, and it was a crazy day. So my next plan was early morning, go after Kudu. And we went out, drove over some big mountains, looked way back in the back of the property, saw a few bulls, nothing of what quality that we were looking for. And we hunted hard that morning, didn't see any gemsbuck we were looking for. That was on the list, and I knew gemsbuck was going to be a serious issue in this hunt because the outfitter had sold gemsbuck to these guys, and the gemsbuck quotas in our area in general were almost non-existent. So you had to hunt really hard. And this property, I knew there were a few gemsbuck on, but I wasn't very confident in the fact that we were going to be able to get the 2 gemsbuck needed for this package. So we went back for lunch, had a great feast. The guys had a little bit of a line, obviously with the jet lag. And that afternoon we set out. And we got onto this one lookout point where you can actually see the corner of the property. And there is this deep valley. Not many guys go there to hunt. And my tracker spotted a gemsbuck. And I thought, man, are we this lucky? And we spotted the gemsbuck, but he was in this deep valley. So there was no way of us retrieving him. So we kind of devised a plan that I would go sit ambush further up the property because the valley ran all the way up the one section. So I went and got the truck set up away, and the tracker would take a slow walk down into this valley, tapping some stones to see if this gemsbuck would give us the opportunity and work its way up the valley to a place where it was huntable and retrievable. So we parked off underneath a tree, had the guys all set up, and I had, who was on the sticks first? I think it was Sam was on the sticks first. And while we were sitting there, all of a sudden this group of Kudu bulls come running out that valley, and there were 2 beautiful Kudu bulls. So they ran and they stood under a tree, not knowing we were there, and Sam made an absolute pin-perfect shot and shot this magnificent bull. With that, we handed the rifle over to Samuel, and the Kudu bulls came running out, and I gave a whistle, and the next bull stopped and looked around, and Samuel smoked his bull, and that was down. In the anticipation, we were sitting there, we were waiting, we were thinking this oryx would come out. We never saw the oryx again. It was gone. All these other game species came out of this deep valley, and the gemsbuck, gone. Old carded it. He's obviously had been missed a few times. He knew this plan. He knew how to get away from it. But we had a beautiful opportunity at shooting 2 Kudu bulls, one after the other. Some great pictures with Sam and Samuel. Real prime specimens for hunting kudu in the Eastern Cape. Some beautiful dark neck bulls, dark faces. So that was the cherry on the cake, and we finished up our afternoon. We had a lot of work. We managed to get the pickup close enough. We loaded both bulls on the back of the truck, and off we went back to the lodge. We proceeded to do a few phone calls to try and find some gemsbuck in the property, And not too far down the road, there was another big game farm that we could hunt on. But they had told me they also only had 2 gemsbok left on quota on a massive 20,000 hectare farm. So the challenge was on. And when we went out that morning, we got stuck into it. We hunted hard and we bumped the 2 gemsbok early in the morning. And they just ran wild. So obviously this property had a lot of hunting pressure on. Guys, when quotas are down to 1s and 2s and stuff like that, you know that ranch has been hunted hard. And they never gave us an opportunity. And I remember Samuel sitting on the truck. He's going, I flew all the way to South Africa, and that was my main animal on this trip. And it looks like I'm not going to be able to get one, which the disappointment sets in. And with the disappointment setting in, there's no one else to aim it towards other than your guide. And we freelance guides, we're only hunting the areas that are available to us, and we can find properties, that we can hunt on, which are ours. But the catch comes in is what the guys don't tell you again at the shows when you're booking. Time of year is one thing which is super important, of when you're coming, when the quotas are at their most and gives you the most opportunities. 2 is the time of year when you're coming out early in the season, when the rut's on, makes life easier. When you're hunting later in the season, it puts a lot more pressure and lots more added stress on. And then also a number of days. If you are only hunting a short number of days, you are liable to struggle. And then also, again, when they're selling you these packages too, they don't really know when you're coming out what the whole ordeal is going to look like. Some of these guys buy their packages year to 2 years in advance. So it's a bit of a tricky one when you're buying these things at the shows. So now, obviously, being the guide, I've got to try to keep the peace, make the guy happy. This particular outfitter wasn't really good with his clients. He never came out and met them. The only face of the company they saw was this one. The guy who picked them up at the airport, and the guy who dropped them off at the airport after the hunt was done. And the lodging staff and your tracker. That's about it. The outfitter never ever made it out to actually spend time with his clients, which I found, me personally, if I've got a guide that I've hired, I would want to go and find out from my clients how the guide's doing, how is he treating you. At least have a dinner with the guys at least once throughout the safari. I know it's busy and life's hectic, but you got to make the effort for at least one night of, catch up with your client. So that brought us to the end of our trip where we hunted. We were moving to the next concession now, and up there were no gemsbok, and that was just open cards. I told them there are no gemsbok guys there, but again, you've bought a package. I can trade these for blue wildebeest, because now the rate that you paid for the gemsbok isn't the rate that's on the trophy price list. It's less. This is what the outfitter says we can trade it for. So it puts a little bit of a sour taste in the guy's mouth when he can't trade apples for apples, and he's not getting what he wants. But anyway, we kept the spirits up. We headed off to the next property. We got there nice and early, and that afternoon we went out, and Samuel managed to shoot a red hartebeest. And the guys, again, I'll post a photo up here. It was by no means a massive trophy red hartebeest, like creme de la creme. But again, unfortunately, limited to what's available and limited to what there was there. And hunting for an outfitter who's got pressure on you to shoot the animals and make sure the guys go home with something, we shot this red hartebeest. He was wide at the bases, he was solid, but he was by no means a record book red hartebeest. Samuel was happy. We got him off the bat, and then we started the next morning of the trip. where we went after black wildebeest, where we had really exceptional genes in black wildebeest. That's one really great quality animal. And then I was also limited to the blue wildebeest on this property, which were not the greatest of quality. But we were there, we were hunting, and we were going to make the most of it. And it was one of those days where also just the guys were shooting so well, and we put a stalk on a black wildebeest, boom, and we shot the black wildebeest. And with this, we bumped into a bachelor herd of blue wildebeest, and Sam shot his blue wildebeest, and Samuel shot his blue. So we had 3 wildebeest within a matter of a morning, and we took some beautiful photographs, and just finished the day on a bit of a high, because obviously the guys were a little bit disappointed that they hadn't had enough opportunity at a gamspak. And we ended the day not getting anything else. And the next morning we had to go and hunt another property where we were after blesbuck. So it wasn't a far drive. A lot of these outfitters tie up the farms and the neighboring farms, which makes it a bit easier. But again, it also depends on quota. You could just end up having to travel kilometers to go and hunt an area. So we ended up on this place known for its massive numbers of blesbuck. And while we were going around, and this is also a good tip, the farmer didn't live there, so we had the rights of going in and out. We had to just phone him in the evening to plan the trip in the morning to see that there was no one else there. We had our own keys for the property, and off we went. So you were at your own discretion there. So while driving around, we spotted a blesbuck that was limping. So I got Sam to shoot it. It wasn't his trophy. It was a fair size blesbuck. It was a nice size blesbuck. And then we had noticed it had been shot off on the front of its leg. And I immediately phoned the farmer and said, listen, we found this wounded blesbuck. I've shot it for you, and we are going to put it in the freezer for you. So at least he didn't have a carcass spoil. At least he's got the animal. And then we carried on with our hunt, and we saw a magnificent blesbuck where Sam got himself all nicely set up and made that pin perfect one-shot kill. And we've got this beautiful blesbuck now. We got it all loaded up, and we carried on with our hunt to find another blesbuck, a big group of blesbuck. There must have been about 100 or so in the group. And we picked out a very, very wide, white-horned ram. And Samuel really wanted to shoot this. We did a leopard crawl. We got onto a ledge. And Samuel had a shot, and he pulled his shot, and he managed to gut shot it. And the grass is knee-high there, guys. If any of you guys have tracked anything in the grass, it's never the easiest because the blood just disappears. And especially with a gut shot animal, it more looks like water than actual blood. But luckily enough, I had my dogs there, and then there was another PH at the time. Him and I were hunting on the property together. I radioed him over, and he brought his dogs with, and the hunt was on. So we put a pack of dogs behind it with the blood, because a blesbuck's not an animal that bays up like any other. They don't really fight, they just run. So putting the extra dogs onto it helped the whole situation and slowed that animal down to the point where we managed to catch up to it. We made the final shot, and that was the end of our safari. So we started our safari with the dogs chase, and we ended our safari with a dog chase. So, and it's super important having all of these little things in place as a PH, making sure that you've got a good hound with you that takes blood. There's nothing worse than losing an animal with a client, and hunting your absolute best to try and retrieve that animal. Don't ever be the PH that goes, oh, there's blood, sorry, turn around and walk off. Work your butt off, even if you have to work the next day trying to get that client his animal. They will appreciate that so much more. You run your dogs and you get yourself there in your tracker right to the point where you've exhausted every possible opportunity to find the animal, and that's when you call it. Guys will appreciate you way more if you do that. So that's my tip I want to leave there for the young guys out there in the industry. If you like what we're doing, please hit that like and subscribe button and join us for the next episode. And till later, guys. Cheers.